A Kiss is Still a Kiss is the 10th episode of the 6th season of Cheers. This is, of course, directed by the wonderful James Burrows. And as always, there will be spoilers from now as I go through the episode and share some thoughts. And it's an amazing episode. There was at least one moment where I just could not stop laughing. I rewound it 4 times because it just entertained me so much, even thinking about it now. I'm going to be tickled for the rest of the evening, but I'll talk about that when we get there. We actually start off with a visit from Harry the Hat. It's been quite a few seasons since Harry the Hat was in it, and he tries to play a trick on Woody, and Cliff and Norm are trying to stop him from doing that, but it doesn't go according to plan. It's a nice, light-hearted way to start things off. We then find out that Cliff is actually staying with Norm and Vera, because, as we learned fairly recently, Cliff's home was demolished, his mother wanted to move to Florida, and Cliff is now staying with Norm, which is rather adorable. He seems to be getting on really well with Vera, which is really nice to hear. Frasier then comes in, and he's really mad because a college professor published an article that refuted everything Frasier said in a previous article, which is basically like saying everything Frasier said was wrong, which is going to sting. We then get to meet the elusive Evan Drake, and he's played by Tom Skerritt. And he has a nice conversation with Sam. They're sharing baseball stories. Well, Sam's telling baseball stories, and the guys, Cliff, Norm, and Frasier, are trying to guess the price of his socks because Evan Drake, he just eludes wealth. And I love how he carries himself. I don't know if I like the character as such. He does appear in some more episodes, and I guess I don't mind the character, but I really like the performance. And it turns out that some of the people Evan Drake works with thinks Rebecca might be, as he put it, a lady's lady, which amuses Sam quite a bit. And Rebecca comes into the bar. It doesn't help that she's just been fixing her car, so she looks a little bit greasy, and obviously stereotyping a lot there. And then Evan Drake ends up inviting her to an event, and she can take a partner, a +1, a companion. And Rebecca queries this with Sam, why he would say companion, and he tells her what Evan Drake what he thought, and tells her that if he were to go to the party with her as a tall, handsome gentleman, then maybe it would help to prove that Rebecca is actually straight. Obviously, Rebecca's not keen on this idea. We then cut to a little later, and Frasier comes in with hiccups, which is adorable. And Rebecca then comes in, and she's very sparkly. Initially, I didn't love the outfit. It seemed a little bit much, but as the episode went on, I really enjoyed it. I liked it when we saw kind of waist up. So I feel like if it was just the top half, not necessarily a full outfit, a full dress, it might not have been as bad, but because we have the top and the skirt, very, very blue and sparkly. But Rebecca's gorgeous regardless. And Woody actually left her a note in her office, and it turns out that Ryan from the escort service can't make it because he was accidentally double booked. And I did for a moment believe that Rebecca had managed to get a date, somebody she knew. Turns out she was using an escort service. Nothing wrong with that if that's what she wanted to do. But needless to say, Sam quite harshly pointed out she couldn't even get a date with an escort, which is a little bit mean. But he was already prepared for this, because he arrived wearing a tux. And he does. He looks very dapper. He looks very smart. And this is the bit where I watched it about 4 times because I just cried laughing. Rebecca says, there are 2 parts to this. The first one, Rebecca says, there are a lot of people that hang out here that I'd rather be seen with. And it immediately cuts to Norm and Cliff, both of whom have got full lemons in their mouths. And Cliff is like banging on the back of Norm's head to indicate that Norm's lemon got stuck. And it's perfect. And then Rebecca turns back to Sam and says, Dr. Crane would probably enjoy a stylish evening with some fine company. And Frasier comes out of the back room with a paper bag on his head saying, I'm cured, I think I'm cured. Because he was trying to cure his hiccups. And it's insanity, and it's amazing. And I haven't laughed at an episode that hard in, actually, probably not that long ago, but deeply, deeply amused. And Rebecca ends up dragging Sam, she drags him out of the bar, and then we cut to the party. It's a nice scene. There are a lot of people. Everybody's smartly dressed. Visually looks really great. Sam finds out for Rebecca that Evan Drake is separated from his wife, and he encourages Rebecca to go for it because she's had a thing for him for 2 years, which means that she's not dated anybody in that time. And they briefly practice with Sam being Evan Drake, but Rebecca realises this is pointless, and she just goes up to him and throws herself on him. And Rebecca kisses multiple people in this episode. It's a lot. And obviously Evan Drake is taken aback by this, and Rebecca leaves mortified. And she obviously goes into Cheers, and we have a sweet moment actually before Rebecca arrives where Vera phones Cliff at Cheers, which is absolutely adorable. Rebecca then comes in, goes to her office, Sam goes to see her, and then Mr. Drake arrives, and Rebecca is understandably worried that she's going to lose her job because she did something arguably quite inappropriate. And Sam goes out first to speak with him, and it turns out he's actually there to apologise. Evan Drake wants to apologise for overreacting, which is admirable. It definitely works in his favour. And Sam decides to have some fun with this. I love Sam, but I love Rebecca, and I don't agree with what Sam did, but it plays out beautifully. He goes to tell Rebecca that Evan Drake is actually quite angry, and that Sam and Rebecca should kiss passionately when Evan Drake comes into the office so that they can pretend that Rebecca actually only pounced on Evan Drake to make Sam jealous because she's actually madly in love with him. And Rebecca is not going to do this, but as soon as Evan Drake comes into the office, she kisses Sam, and it's an adorable moment. I absolutely love it. But very quickly, she realises that Sam had played her, and Evan Drake leaves, problem solved, but then Rebecca chases after Sam. He tries to hold her in the office. She catches up with him, and Sam tells her that kiss meant something. Nobody could kiss that passionately and fake it, and without missing a beat. Frasier walks in the bar at that moment, and Rebecca jumps on him and kisses him and throws him against one of the tables and is on top of him, kissing him, and she stands up, proving her point. And Sam just kind of waves a hand over Frasier, who has clearly just been theoretically knocked unconscious because of the dramatic, passionate nature of the kiss. And then all we hear as the lights fade is a solitary hiccup from Frasier, which I just thought was a perfect way to end it. It's a fabulous episode. Needless to say, highlights for me are absolutely, well, a lot of the focus on Kirstie Alley, which I always love, but also Cliff and Norm with the lemons in their mouths and Frasier with the bag on his head. It's perfect. It's absolutely perfect. A Kiss is Still a Kiss is a brilliant episode of Cheers, and I'm going to be laughing for quite a long time with this one. I absolutely love it.